If you know you need to be more data driven at your business, but you don't have the resources to do it, you're flying blind, don't worry, there's an easy fix. What's going on, everybody? I'm Jack Tompkins with Pineapple Consulting Firm, always trying to help the small business world become more data driven. Today we're talking data strategy. Super sexy topic, right? This is all about the small business that knows that they should be data driven, knows that they can be data driven, but they don't have the resources to do it, and they're just flying blind. That feels like you, and you're not a data expert. There is a solution. There is an easy way to do it. We perform what's called a data strategy audit. You can do this on your own as well. So we're going to walk through the steps. There's going to be two main things. One is just let's talk about it. Let's build an outline. And the second piece is actually creating the roadmap from it. Again, you don't have to be a data expert to do this. There are some data pieces, of course, but let's jump in. It's not that scary. Okay, so here we are. This is the first step. This is barely about data. This is just let's talk about what you want to do. So we call this as Data Strategy Audit Outline. And all we do, look, this is the entire page. What are your business goals? Let's talk about the data sources, aka the software that you use currently. Is there anything that you use to visualize the data? What are you doing today? What do you want to do tomorrow? So that's this whole first part. We're going to go through a couple examples here, but it starts with a business goal. That is the biggest thing. Data for the sake of data is useless. Data for the sake of driving forward a business goal, now we're talking, that's useful, okay? So start with the business goal. That's where all of this is. That's where everything with data should start. So what are you trying to do? What are you tracking? Example, grow $1 million, right? More revenue, $1 million, whatever it is. What metrics are important for that goal? Well, of course, there's revenue. You want new leads. You want to maintain expenses. That could be part of it too. But so far, this isn't data, right? This is just what are you doing this year for your business? Now we're talking about data sources, right? So we're good with the business goal. We're growing by $1 million. Now we're going to say these are data sources, but don't think of it that way. It's just the software that you use in your day-to-day basis, right? So we use QuickBooks Online, right? A lot of people do. This is where all the finances are held for the most part, right? Now, QuickBooks Online doesn't produce great reports for the business owner. They produce great reports for accountants. But that's still a source of data. That's still a software that gets used. If you have a database going on, great. You're probably ahead of curve. MySQL database, PostgreSQL, anything like that. Those sound familiar. That's a source of data. You could also have things like HubSpot in here, any sort of CRM. You could have time tracking. We use Clockify. We have dashboards for that too. So anything else that you're using in terms of data or in terms of software is actually your data sources. And then of course, you can have ad hoc things. It doesn't not have to be this fully AI integrated, automated, fancy corporate machine. If you got a Google Sheets file that has literally just 10 lines or 12 lines for a monthly revenue target, that's perfect. Let's use it. That works. Now, where are we visualizing it? So this is the tool that you're actually using the thing. A lot of people start with Excel or Google Sheets or whatever it is. We listed out a couple other ones here. This is where the data is going to be shown. It's going to be represented there. So it's important to know up front. And then current state versus future state. Classic, what are you doing today? What would you rather be doing tomorrow? Think pie in the sky, okay? Don't get bogged down by the different fields within data or anything like that. Let's think pie in the sky. We want something fully automated. We've got QuickBooks data, feeds into a web-based dashboard. I can check it on my phone. I can have that feeling if I'm on vacation. I can pull that open, say, oh, business is okay. And then I can close my phone and go back to vacation, right? Let's talk about that future state. How close are you to that today? Most people, not super close. That's totally normal. Okay, so this is the whole start of it. See, we've touched on data, but most of it's just what are you doing in your day? What would you love to see though? What would really help drive the business forward? So that's this whole thing that we do with clients. And again, obviously, this is the exact same document that we share with them. You can obviously self-implement this. The second part, now we do get a little bit more data centric, but you can see in this outline over here, it's only 5 steps. So the first step is, again, let's just carry over those business goals. The next few I'm gonna sort of skate through because they are definitely more data heavy. So this, you as the owner, you may not want to do this. You may delegate it to somebody on your team, but this whole scary looking section, it's just, hey, we have a bunch of software, the data's in there. What field are we actually talking about within those data tables that are stored in that software that is just the everyday thing that I use? So this just categorizes those different fields. This database design, again, sounds pretty data heavy. This part, if you are self-implementing, this is a really helpful part. It's not 100% necessary. We do it because we are data experts and this is sort of how we can communicate with each other kind of thing. But this database design, it's meant to put these exact same fields that we just found, it's meant to put them into something translatable between sources. So something like a primary key is, okay, we're going to use that as a client ID that comes up in one table and it also comes up in another table. So we're going to use that for two tables to talk to each other. That's all that means. Next part is ETL, right? So data lives in the software that you're using in QuickBooks or whatever. Where does it need to eventually live? Let's go Google Sheets, right? Pretty easy. That can be a database in this situation. How do we get data from QuickBooks into Google Sheets? Well, there's a bunch of different ways. We're partial to a software called Coupler as a partner of ours, link to them below. And you can also do just a regular CSV. You have options here. It's just we need the data to live somewhere where we can put a couple of formulas around it and we can feed it into a dashboard. Because a direct link from something like QuickBooks into something like Looker Studio, it's not totally possible, or at least it's very complicated. Having this middleman step is all this is, and it's a pretty necessary step for most situations. We've got an example SQL query here. Again, if you are SQL savvy or somebody on your team is, great, go for it, do it. But it's not 100% necessary. This is just an example. It's a simple query. It's an example of how you would get data from the specific tables into a specific database for only the relevant info, right? So this entire process, we're just narrowing in on the relevant info that we need. I'm going to scroll all the way down here. We're already at number 5. Look, we're already pretty much done. What do you want this to look like at the end, right? So we've got a screenshot here. This is a live example. That example dashboard is linked below as well. What do we want this to look like? You can put this together in PowerPoint, in Canva, in Microsoft Paint if you really want to, right? Put something out there of, man, I wish this would be possible. I wish we had this. I would totally run my business. Do that. Start there. Any data analyst will tell you that it may not be 100% doable, but that at least paints the picture, literally, of what you want to see. And if anybody who's building a data strategy, building a dashboard, being an analyst, anything like that, if that end goal is clear, the rest of it just becomes so much easier. So dream big here. Again, go pie in the sky, whatever you want there, let's put it there. We'll see if it's possible. And there you have it. It's your data strategy audit, right? That's your roadmap. That is your path to become data driven. Whatever level of data driven you want to be, that is the path. It's let's start, let's dream big, let's focus on the business goals, then let's put some numbers to it. Let's put some fields to it and figure out how to get data from point A to point B. That's kind of all it is at the end of the day. You don't need to be a data expert, but if you do want one, obviously we can help point you in the right direction. Give us a shout, links below to reach out to us. We just want to help the world be more data driven. This is the exact process that we do with clients. I hope you can implement it on your own, but if you can't, give us a shout. We're here to help.